Take a deep breath and plunge with us into a world of impossible color and boundless life. Our oceans. They are the cradle of all we know, a vast, pulsating heart for our planet, teeming with wonders that defy imagination. Here, in the sun-drenched shallows, coral cities bustle with 1,000,000 tiny lives, each playing its part in a grand, intricate ballet. Further out, in the endless blue, colossal whales sing their ancient, haunting songs across entire continents, their journeys guided by unseen forces. This is a world we cherish, a world of vibrant, chaotic, and breathtaking beauty. Feels eternal, doesn't it? As if it has always been this way and always will be. But that feeling is an illusion, a comforting story we tell ourselves. The truth is, our oceans are a realm of staggering mystery, and what we see is merely the surface of an abyss we have barely begun to comprehend. We've mapped the surface of Mars with more detail than our own ocean floor. Down there, in the crushing dark, life thrives in ways that challenge our very definition of existence. What silent dramas unfold in those unlit canyons? What colossal shapes drift through the eternal night, completely unknown to us? The ocean keeps its secrets well, and its greatest secret might not be what lives in it today, but what it is slowly, quietly, becoming. Evolution is a patient artist, a sculptor that works on timescales we can barely grasp. It doesn't measure its progress in years or centuries, but in eons. Millennia are but a moment's work. So, let's ask a question that pushes the boundaries of our own fleeting existence. What happens when we let that artist work for 50 million years? What strange new masterpieces will emerge from the clay of life after humanity's chapter is a long-forgotten footnote in Earth's history. The familiar coastlines will have shifted, continents will have drifted, and the very chemistry of the water will have transformed into something new, something alien. Every change leaves a mark, and our era is leaving the deepest scars the planet has seen in 65 million years. The silent creep of warmth into the deep, the steady reign of our plastic ghosts, the unseen shift in the water's very essence. These are not just problems for us. They are the catalysts for a new genesis. For life, crisis is also an opportunity. It is a fire that clears the old growth, making way for new, strange forms to take root in the ashes. The life that will inherit this planet won't just be surviving our legacy. It will be built from it, forged in the crucible of the world we are leaving behind. So let's leave our time behind. Let's leap forward, across an ocean of 50 million years, to a world remade. The sun that greets us is not quite the one we know. It hangs in a sky the color of old wine, casting a coppery, unfamiliar light across the globe. The air itself feels heavy, thick with gases that would be poison to our lungs. And the ocean is no longer the deep, familiar blue. It shimmers with an oily, hypnotic iridescence, its surface moving with a syrupy slowness that is both beautiful and deeply unsettling. This is Earth, but it is not our Earth. It's an alien planet hiding in our own future. We stand at the shore of this new, bizarre world, ready to take the first step into the unknown. What we thought we knew about life, about the rules of survival, no longer applies here. The familiar ecosystems are gone, replaced by something stranger, something wilder. The invitation to this future is an invitation to awe, but also to a certain kind of terror, the fear that comes from witnessing a nature that is utterly indifferent to us, a world that has moved on and forgotten our name. The water looks inviting, but what secrets does it hold? What new forms of life have claimed these transformed seas as their own? There's only one way to find out. Are you ready to take the dive? The dive begins. As we slip beneath the strange, iridescent surface, the world transforms. The water is impossibly clear, yet the coppery light from the alien sun above struggles to penetrate, giving everything a hazy, dreamlike quality. We descend into the shallows, the sunlit zone that, in our time, was a riot of life and color. But something is profoundly wrong. Where are the sprawling cities of coral? The gentle sway of green kelp forests? Gone. All gone. The vibrant palette we knew has been washed away, replaced by an unnerving and monumental silence. It's a ghost of an ecosystem, a beautiful, empty ballroom where the music has long since stopped playing. You can't help but wonder, what could possibly live in a world so scoured clean? And then we see it. Not a reef of bone-white coral, but something crystalline, geometric, and vast. Stretching for miles in every direction are colossal structures of shimmering glass. These are the glass reefs of the future. They catch the dimming light and fracture it into a billion cold, sharp points of color, like a cathedral built from frozen lightning. These aren't the work of corals, which build their homes from calcium carbonate. No, the acidic oceans of the past dissolved those ancient architects away millions of years ago. These new reefs are built by the descendants of diatoms and radiolarians, microscopic life forms that construct their tiny shells from silica, the very substance of glass. In this changed world, they were the unlikely inheritors, and they have built an empire. The sheer scale is breathtaking, but there's a coldness to this beauty. A living coral reef is chaotic, messy, and loud. It buzzes with the sound of snapping shrimp and crunching parrotfish. Here, the silence is king. These glass labyrinths are sterile, sharp, and unforgiving. We drift through silent, crystalline canyons that rise like skyscrapers, their surfaces unnaturally smooth. But it is not entirely lifeless. A shimmering biofilm, a thin layer of algae and bacteria, coats everything, and grazing upon it are small, nervous-looking creatures, the fish of this era. They dart and hide within the glass, their scales silvery and plain, as if color itself has become a liability in this stark, new world. It feels less like an ecosystem and more like a museum, quiet and perfectly preserved. But as our eyes adjust, we notice movement. Something is crawling deliberately along a translucent ledge, its form familiar yet deeply wrong. It has the distinct shape of a crustacean, a descendant of a crab or a lobster, a scavenger making its way across the glass plains. Yet its shell is impossible. It doesn't have the dull, mottled pattern of chitin. Instead, it gleams with a slick, artificial-looking iridescence. Swirls of deep blue, toxic green, and metallic violet shift and ripple across its back as it moves. It shines with the unnatural beauty of an oil slick on water, a rainbow born from pollution. It is both mesmerizing and repulsive, a living jewel forged from our own garbage. What are we looking at? This creature is a testament to life's perverse ability to adapt. For millions of years after we were gone, our most enduring legacy remained: microplastics, an invisible plague that saturated every corner of the ocean, from the surface to the deepest trenches. This crab's ancestors didn't just learn to survive in this plastic-choked world. They learned to use it. Through some evolutionary miracle, they developed the biological machinery to ingest plastic fragments from the sediment, break them down, and repolymerize them. They weave these synthetic polymers into their own shells, creating a new kind of biological armor that is incredibly light, strong, and durable. This isn't just biology anymore. It's something more. It's living technology. Every shimmering color you see on its back is a ghost. That flash of blue might have been a water bottle. That streak of green, a plastic bag. That metallic sheen, a piece of a discarded electronic device. We are looking at a living artifact of the Anthropocene, an animal that wears our civilization as its skin. Our waste has been incorporated, assimilated, and turned into a tool for survival. Is this a story of nature's incredible resilience? A triumphant declaration that life will always find a way? Or is it a horrifying monument to our carelessness, a permanent stain we left on the very blueprint of life itself? As you watch it crawl through the silent glass city, it's impossible to feel one way or the other. It simply is. The scavenger is a marvel, a perfect fusion of the organic and the synthetic. But it is a creature of the shallows, a product of a world still touched by the sun and haunted by our direct legacy. The truly profound changes, the most alien designs, have taken shape far from here. As we drift deeper, the last of the coppery light begins to surrender to the encroaching darkness. The glass reefs and their plastic-armored inhabitants are just the welcome mat. They have shown us how life can endure what we left behind. Now, we're about to see what it becomes in a world that has forgotten us completely. The true strangeness, The real mystery doesn't begin until the light fades away for good. We leave the strange, silent cities of glass behind and continue our descent. The last traces of the coppery sun fade into memory, and we sink into a world that has never known the light of day. The mesopelagic, the twilight zone. The pressure here is immense, a constant crushing weight on our vessel. The temperature has plummeted, and the water is a near-freezing, inky black. In this eternal night, the rules of the sunlit world are meaningless. Survival here is a different game entirely, played in the dark by things that have mastered a different kind of fire. This isn't an empty void. It's a space filled with secrets. And secrets in the deep ocean are often synonymous with predators. Suddenly, the darkness is broken. But it's not the familiar, lonely lure of an anglerfish or the gentle glow of a passing squid. This is something else. A vast, intricate pattern of cold blue light ignites in the abyss before us, a lattice of perfect hexagons that seems to stretch for hundreds of feet. It hangs in the water for a moment, a ghostly, silent tapestry of light, before vanishing as quickly as it appeared. A few seconds later, another pattern flashes into existence. A spiraling vortex of green and silver, pulsating with a slow, hypnotic rhythm. It's disorienting, beautiful, and deeply unsettling. What is creating this silent, coordinated symphony? We are witnessing a new form of life and a new form of consciousness. These light shows are the work of colossal swarms, billions of tiny, jellyfish-like organisms, each no bigger than a fingernail. Individually, they are simple, almost insignificant. But together, they have evolved a form of swarm intelligence that is staggering in its complexity. They are a decentralized superorganism, communicating and coordinating their actions through precisely timed flashes of bioluminescence. They are no longer just a school of creatures. They have become a single entity. They are a living net of light, and they are hunting. This isn't the brute force predation of tooth and claw. This is something far more insidious, a hunt that targets the mind. Imagine you are a fish, navigating the total darkness. In the distance, you see a shimmering cloud of light that perfectly mimics the pattern of the tiny crustaceans you feed on. It looks like an easy meal. You swim closer, but as you approach, the pattern shifts. The soft glow erupts into a blinding, disorienting strobe. The lights swirl around you, forming a cage of pure, chaotic energy. Your senses are overwhelmed, your escape instincts are short-circuited. You are paralyzed by light itself. That is when the swarm, a silent, ghostly cloud, drifts in to consume you. This is the ultimate evolutionary arms race in a world without light. When you cannot be seen, and cannot see, the only way to dominate is to control the very perception of reality. These living light nets are masters of illusion. They can weave lures of hypnotic beauty, project terrifying phantom shapes to scare off rivals, and construct inescapable prisons of sensory overload. Their language is light, and they speak it with a fluency that has made them the apex predators of the Twilight Zone. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? An intelligence that exists not in a single brain, but is spread across a billion tiny bodies, acting in perfect silent unison. The scientific principles are understandable. Bioluminescence is common in our own oceans, and swarm intelligence is seen in everything from ant colonies to flocks of birds. But this is those concepts taken to an evolutionary extreme, creating something that feels utterly alien. It's a form of life that blurs the line between a colony and a single creature, between an animal and a natural phenomenon. It's a testament to the fact that over millions of years, life will not just explore every possibility, it will invent entirely new ones. What we're seeing is not just an animal. It's a living, thinking system. We watch as another hunt concludes, the light cage dissolving back into the abyss, leaving no trace of the struggle. There is a profound lethality in this silent, coordinated beauty. It makes you wonder what other forms of consciousness could be evolving in this endless dark. If this is the complex, predatory system that has mastered the twilight, what happens when we go deeper? What waits in the realms below, where not even a single photon of light can penetrate, and the pressure is 100 times greater? The symphony of light fades behind us as we descend once more, into a darkness more complete, and a silence more profound than anything we have known. The hypnotic lights of the twilight zone are gone. We are now falling into the true deep, the abyssal plane. 4,000 meters down. The pressure outside our viewport is over 400 times greater than at the surface, an incomprehensible weight that would pulverize steel and flesh alike. The water is a single, constant degree above freezing. And the darkness, it is absolute. This is a blackness so complete, so ancient, that it feels like a physical substance. The very concept of light is a foreign myth here. If the sunlit zone was a bustling city and the twilight zone a dazzling theater, this is a tomb, a silent, cold, and seemingly endless void. But our instruments tell us something is wrong with that picture. It isn't silent. Our hydrophones are picking something up, something that cuts through the profound emptiness. It's a sound, but not the click of a shrimp or the call of a whale. It's a pulse, a deep, impossibly low thrum that is more felt than heard. Thump, a pause that stretches for an eternity. Thump. It's slow, rhythmic, and monolithic. It sounds less like biology and more like geology, like the slow heartbeat of the planet itself. But it's moving, and it's getting closer. What in this desolate, energy-starved world could possibly have the power to create a sound so immense? We extinguish our exterior lights, relying solely on our passive sensors. The sound grows louder, the rhythmic pulse now a tangible wave of pressure that vibrates through the hull of our submersible. Thump. It feels ancient, powerful, alive. There's a growing sense of dread, a primal fear of the unknown that settles in your bones. The emptiness around us is no longer empty. It contains something of a scale we are not prepared for. Our mission changes. We are no longer observing. We are hunting a ghost, following a sound through a darkness that has hidden its secrets for 50 million years. We have to see what is making that sound. Our forward spotlights flare to life, cutting a brilliant but tiny cone into the black. And they hit something. But it's not the seafloor. It's a wall of pale, semi-translucent tissue that rises out of the darkness below and disappears into the darkness above. It stretches to the left and to the right beyond the reach of our lights. It's veined with dark, pulsating channels, like a network of rivers flowing through a landscape of flesh. The wall is moving, flexing slowly in time with the rhythmic thump that now surrounds us. We are moving alongside it for minutes, and there is still no end in sight. The horrifying realization dawns. We are not looking at a creature. We are looking at a fraction of a creature. This is the abyssal leviathan. It's not one animal, but a colossal superorganism, descended from humble, colonial tunicates like salps. In our time, they formed delicate, meters-long chains. Given 50 million years in this stable, unchanging environment, that evolutionary path has led to this. Billions of individual organisms have merged, specializing and differentiating to become the organs of a single, unified being that is kilometers long. The rhythmic pulse is its heart, a coordinated muscular contraction of the entire colony that draws a slow, powerful current of water through its core, filtering out the constant, gentle rain of marine snow that is the only food in the abyss. This is the undisputed apex of the future deep. It is not a predator. It does not hunt. It does not need to. It is a slow-moving, passive harvester of planetary scale. Drifting through the eternal night at a few meters per minute, it is an unstoppable force of nature, a living glacier of gelatinous flesh. Its sheer size makes it invulnerable. It has no rivals. It has no enemies. It is an entire ecosystem unto itself, with smaller creatures having evolved to live on its surface or within its vast internal chambers. It is the ultimate expression of life in a low-energy world. Conserve, grow, and become too big to fail. We pull away, our lights detaching from the endless, pulsating wall of life. We never saw its beginning or its end. We never saw its true shape. Was it a line? A great, drifting ring? Something more complex? Its full form remains a terrifying mystery, a shape left for our nightmares to fill in. As we ascend, the monolithic heartbeat fades behind us, a reminder that in the deepest, darkest corners of the world, life can evolve into things that resemble gods. Blind, silent, and impossibly vast gods, ruling over a kingdom of eternal night. We are ascending, leaving the impossible weight of the abyss and its silent, monstrous god behind. The journey back towards the surface feels different. The strange, terrifying things we've witnessed are no longer just phantoms in the dark. They are questions. How could a world become so alien? What forces could twist the familiar patterns of life into such bizarre and unsettling forms? The answer, it turns out, is not as mysterious as you might think. It's a story of cause and effect, of pressure and adaptation, written on a canvas of 50 million years. The strangeness has a logic, and its roots are buried in our own time. Let's start with those silent, crystalline cities. The glass reefs. Their existence is a direct consequence of a change we initiated: ocean acidification. For millennia, our civilization pumped carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, and the oceans absorbed it, becoming progressively more acidic. For corals, whose skeletons are made of calcium carbonate, this was a death sentence. The very water they lived in became a solvent that dissolved their homes. So they vanished. But life abhors a vacuum. The niche for a master reef builder was empty, and a new candidate, immune to the acid, was waiting. The humble diatom. These microscopic algae have always built their intricate shells from silica or glass. They were unaffected by the changing pH. In the new, acidic oceans, they had a profound advantage. Evolution did the rest. Over countless generations, some diatoms evolved colonial lifestyles, their individual glass shells fusing together. This led to larger, more complex structures, until they became the planet's new architects, building vast, stable reef systems on the bones of the old. It's a stunning example of one kingdom falling and another, built from a different element entirely, rising to take its place. And what about the scavenger crawling through those glass canyons, the crab wearing our waste as its armor? This creature is a monument to our most enduring legacy: plastic. We created a material that nature couldn't break down, and we flooded the planet with it. For millions of years, it accumulated in the sediment, a synthetic poison woven into the fabric of the earth. But evolution is the ultimate tinkerer. Given enough time, it can learn to disassemble almost anything. An incredible evolutionary leap allowed this creature's ancestors to develop enzymes that could break the chemical bonds of plastics, metabolizing them. A world-ending pollutant became a food source. But it went a step further. Why just eat the plastic when you can use it? This creature learned to repolymerize those synthetic molecules, weaving them into its chitinous shell. The result? An armor that is lighter, stronger, and more resilient than anything its ancestors could grow naturally. It is a perverse form of symbiosis between biology and the ghost of our industry. This creature didn't just survive our pollution. It harnessed it. It turned our indestructible garbage into an evolutionary advantage, a chilling reminder that nature doesn't judge, it simply incorporates. Further down, in the twilight zone, we saw the symphony of light. This wasn't magic. It was a desperate, high-stakes arms race fought with biology. In the dark, vision is about detecting light, not reflecting it. So life became the light source. The swarms of jellyfish-like organisms simply took two existing principles, bioluminescence and swarm intelligence, and pushed them to their absolute limit. To catch prey that is getting better at seeing you, you must become better at manipulating what they see. The result is a predatory system based on illusion and sensory warfare, a shared consciousness that can outthink and outmaneuver any individual. And finally, the Leviathan. The abyssal plane is the most stable environment on Earth, but it's an energy desert. The only food is the constant, slow rain of organic matter from above. In this world, the best strategy is to be incredibly energy efficient. Colonial animals like salps are already masters of this, with specialized individuals forming a single, larger organism. The Leviathan is the logical endpoint of this strategy. By becoming a kilometers-long superorganism, it maximizes its surface area for feeding while minimizing its energy output. It doesn't need to hunt or move quickly. It simply exists, drifting and filtering, a creature that has achieved a perfect, monstrous equilibrium with its desolate world. This godlike scale is not a show of power, but a masterpiece of efficiency. We break the surface. The coppery, alien sky gives way to the brilliant, familiar blue of home. The first breath of our own world's air feels both comforting and strange. We are back in our time, surrounded by the oceans we know. Here they are again, the vibrant coral reefs, a chaotic dance of a million creatures. The gentle giants of the sea, singing their complex songs across the globe. The shimmering schools of fish that move as one mind. It is all exactly as we left it, and yet, it is completely different. The beauty is still there, but it is now haunted by the ghosts of the future we just witnessed. It feels fragile, temporary, like a memory that is already starting to fade. That pristine coral reef now looks like a sandcastle waiting for the tide to turn. Its carbonate structure so vulnerable to the acidic future we know is coming. That piece of plastic trash drifting lazily in the current is no longer just litter. It is the seed of a new kind of life, the raw material for the iridescent armor of a creature yet to be born. Every rumble of a ship's engine, every degree of warmth that seeps into the deep, every molecule of carbon we release into the air feels like a stone cast into a still pond. We have seen the ripples. We have seen the strange and monstrous shapes they can form 50 million years from now. But it is crucial to remember that the world we visited is not a definite future. It is not a prophecy written in stone. It is a single possibility, one branch on an infinite tree of potential timelines. A future born from a specific set of pressures that we are creating right now. If we were to change those pressures even slightly, the path would diverge. A different, equally strange world might emerge. Or perhaps a world that is less alien. The future of the ocean isn't a fixed destination we are hurtling towards. It is a vast, dark room, and we are standing at the door, deciding which lights to turn on and which to leave off. This is perhaps the most unsettling realization of all. We are not passive observers of life's grand story. We have become the primary authors of its next chapter. We are a geological force, a climate-altering event, a planetary-scale pressure on the evolutionary process. The plastic-shelled crab, the glass reefs, the predatory light weavers of the twilight zone. These were not natural disasters. They were artistic responses. They were life's desperate, creative, and monstrous solutions to the problems we created. Our civilization will one day be a thin, forgotten layer in the rock, but the life that follows will bear our signature for eons. There is a terrifying and awesome indifference to nature. It does not think in terms of beauty or monstrosity, of right or wrong. These are our human ideas. Life's only imperative is to continue. The future ocean we saw was horrifying to us, but for the creatures that called it home, it was simply home. The abyssal leviathan wasn't evil. It was a perfect engine of survival. The light nets weren't cruel. They were efficient. The creatures of this future are a mirror, reflecting the world they were given. They are the logical outcome of our actions, stripped of all sentimentality. And so we are left here on the shores of our own time, looking out at the water. The journey is over, but the questions it raised will linger. We went searching for the future, but we found a reflection of ourselves. Our legacy is not written in books or monuments, but in the very chemistry of the water and the genetic code of the creatures that will inherit this world long after we are gone. The next time you look at the ocean, listen closely. You might just hear the faint, rhythmic pulse of a world that is yet to come. And you might ask yourself, what kind of world are we building for it?